also have the right of religious freedom, which is so important, especially to those values voters that you and I have been talking about, Hugh. So when I look at this platform, and in particular, the 20 points that we've been discussing, you have a real brevity, you have a lot of compact language, you have a lot of direct language, imperatives, this is what we're going to do. It's very much a reflection of Donald Trump, who we've been told played a very singular role in editing and even writing parts of this document.
Well, it's all in caps, so it's very much his. Okay, I want to finish on this. A combination of a number of things. Prevent World War III, restore peace in Europe and the Middle East, build a great Iron Dome missile defense shield over our entire country, all made in America, strengthen and modernize our military, making it without question the strongest and most powerful in the world. My friend Captain Hendricks texted me after your first segment, Matt. This is a TR platform. This is a big, bold, strong American military platform, and I love it if it will do it. He promised the same thing 8 years ago. It didn't happen. I mean, the money was spent, but the Navy's still 280 ships. What do you think? Do you think he can deliver this time?
I think the Teddy Roosevelt comparison is extremely apt. I think this time, I think he'll be in a better position to deliver, Hugh, especially because it looks like we may be headed for another Republican trifecta. But also, more importantly, Trump is going to be surrounded by advisors and by lieutenants who buy into the MAGA agenda wholly. That wasn't necessarily the case in the first term. You know, again, looking at this platform, a lot of room to make deals, which are so important to President Trump.
Thank you for joining us for the Town Hall Review with Hugh Hewitt. If you enjoyed the program and the podcast, do us the favor of sharing it with a friend. Let me point out, you can get this podcast, Town Hall Review with yours truly, Victor Davis Hanson, and my own podcast, Highly Concentrated Hugh, all at the Salem Podcast Network. Special thanks to executive producer Russell Shubin, producers David Bouchon, Alex Perez, Harley Eide, Adam Ramsey, and Dwayne Patterson. I'm Hugh Hewitt. Thank you for joining us.
The Cal Thomas Commentary is brought to you by Values Through Media. Now here's syndicated columnist Cal Thomas.
Project 2025. It's all over the liberal media. The Biden-Harris campaign has sent out talking points to disparage and distort what the document says. It's the work of hundreds of conservative thinkers and published by the Heritage Foundation think tank, the same outfit that published Mandate for Leadership in 1980 that Ronald Reagan used as his guide for lowering taxes and reforming government. Read it for yourself at heritage.org and my column about it in newspapers and on my website, calthomas.com. The left is hysterical about Project 2025 because it seeks to reduce the size, cost, and reach of the federal government and eliminate or reform programs that aren't working, including the dreadful Department of Education, securing the border, national school choice, eliminating DEI, and gender nonsense. The left says conservatives want to impose a Judeo-Christian value system on the country. Well, how is theirs working out with drag queen story time and other outrages? Read Project 2025 and don't believe the left. They fear it's a threat to their power, and they're right. I'm Cal Thomas.
For a free copy of today's commentary, visit calthomas.com or write us at Values Through Media, P.O. Box 373340, Key Largo, Florida 33037. That's P.O. Box 373340, Key Largo, Florida 33037. Please specify the date and subject. Your tax-deductible gifts to Values Through Media help support us. Listen again next time for the Cal Thomas Commentary.
You know, it's true. Difficult times have a way of focusing us. We have to think about what matters most when it comes to our spending, our healthcare. This is why so many people are joining MediShare right now. MediShare is a trusted way to save up to 50% on your monthly healthcare costs. More than 400,000 people have already made the switch. It's pretty obvious why, too, especially now during this challenging season with healthcare costs and out-of-pocket expenses going up. MediShare can save you a lot of money. The typical family saves $500 a month. MediShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years. Members have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. There are different options to choose from to fit your budget. I'll give you the number here in a second, and if you call, you can get a price within 2 minutes. Maybe now is the perfect time to make the switch and start saving. Here you go. Call 855-90-BIBLE. That's 855-90-BIBLE. 855-90-BIBLE.
Well, summer is upon us and the weather is beautiful. Everyone has a favorite outdoor activity: golf, bike riding, bird watching, long walks. Ask 100 people and you'll get 100 answers. But if everyday aches and pains are keeping you on the sidelines, I have one answer: Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a 100% drug-free daily supplement that helps your body fight pain naturally. Developed by doctors, Relief Factor uses a unique formula of natural ingredients. It doesn't just mask pain, it helps reduce or even eliminate it. Wherever you're hurting, back, neck, joints, or muscles, in 3 weeks or less, you'll start to feel the difference all day, every day. So whatever you like to do, swimming, pickleball, hanging out in the garden, Relief Factor can help you feel good again and let you enjoy all your favorite outdoor activities all summer long. ReliefFactor.com, 1-800-4RELIEF, 1-800-473-5433. Fight pain naturally with Relief Factor.
WGUL and W229DJ Dunedin. Powered by Prosperity Group. Come grow with us and reach your retirement goals.
Two Guys Gun Shows comes to the Largo Event Center this Saturday and Sunday. One ticket gets you into the show all weekend. 6240 126th Avenue North in Largo.
With SRN News, I'm Jeremy House in Washington. Former President Donald Trump was the target of an assassination attempt at a Pennsylvania rally yesterday, days after before he was to accept the Republican nomination for a third time. Mr. Trump's campaign said the presumptive GOP nominee was doing fine after the shooting, which he said pierced the upper part of his right ear. President Biden addressed the nation a few hours after the shooting.
There's no place in America for this kind of violence. It's sick. It's sick. It's one of the reasons why we have to unite this country. We cannot allow for this to be happening. We cannot be like this. We cannot condone this.
Also on srnews.com, the Secret Service is facing questions in the aftermath of the assassination attempt on Mr. Trump.
Members of both political parties, including Joe Biden and Donald Trump, are praising the fast action of Secret Service agents. But there also are serious questions being asked how a gunman could have gotten so close to the former president and fired so many shots, one of them striking Trump in the ear. House Speaker Mike Johnson and the chairman of the House Oversight Committee said there would be hearings to investigate what happened. Greg Clugston, Milwaukee.
Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says that there still is an absolute certainty that Hamas's shadowy military commander was killed in a massive airstrike in southern Gaza. Local health officials say that airstrike killed at least 90 people. And the misery of Houston's lasting power outages extend beyond the big city and onto surrounding farms and ranches. That's where everything from animal bedding to feed is harder to come by since Hurricane Beryl turned off the lights. This is SRN News.
The secular crew sees another win for Team Trump.
That sentencing date has been vacated by Judge Juan Merchan, and the new date is September 18th. That new date has a big if. It says we're going to adjourn to September 18th, 2024. And here is the key, folks. If such is still necessary for other proceedings.
Secular. Afternoons at 5 on AM 860, The Answer and TheAnswerTampa.com.
This is Dennis Prager, and now a truly exciting new benefit. My monthly online video get-together for Pragertopia Plus members only. For an hour each month, get an exclusive chance to ask me anything. I'll be answering your questions. I've never done this. Submit your questions for me at Pragertopia.com. This is our chance to connect like never before. Go to Pragertopia.com or click the banner at DennisPrager.com.
Helping you get where you're trying to go. Get digital media solutions for your business. Visit SurroundTampa.com. SurroundTampa.com.
For today, a mix of clouds and sun with a couple of thunderstorms, especially late, humid, high 92. Tonight, a thunderstorm in spots early this evening, partly cloudy and humid, low 78. Tomorrow, humid with periods of clouds and sun, a thunderstorm in parts of the area in the afternoon, high 93. Get your weather news when and how you want it wherever you are. Download our free app or visit AccuWeather.com. That's your AccuWeather forecast. I'm Caitlin Lawrence for AM 860, The Answer.
The financial content, including all financial data, editorial content, and advertising provided on this program, is intended for personal use and entertainment and does not constitute investment advice. Financial content that appears on this station does not mean the station endorses such content. In addition, this station makes no representation that financial information is accurate, complete, or timely. This station does not accept any liability for any investment decisions made on the basis of this information. It is strongly recommended you obtain professional advice before proceeding with any investment.
The following program is sponsored by Prosperity Group, LLC, and is pre-recorded.
Welcome to the Prosperity Hour. Join host Greg Ellie of the Prosperity Group as they guide you on your path to prosperity in retirement and life. Learn how to safely protect your money from market risk, creating your own pension-like income with their safe money strategies and implementing their tax-free plans. Call Greg or the team at 864-989-0176 or email Greg at mymoneyissafe.com. Visit mymoneyissafe.com and start now.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Greg Ellie of the Prosperity Group, and welcome to the Prosperity Hour. And I believe today's show is going to be a very interesting show because I'm trying to frame things in a way that's very realistic to what's taking place in our taxes right now. One of the conversation that I would say 90% of the brokers and advisors that you meet with will say something when you ask them questions about taxes, and that's changing. But when you ask them questions about taxes, they're going to say, well, talk to your CPA. You know, I don't do taxes. But I'm not a CPA. I want to put that disclaimer there. I'm not a lawyer. But we work in conjunction with teams of people that help with tax strategies. Because right now, we have something called the retirement tax trap. And if you have a 401k, if you have an IRA, you are actually in the retirement tax trap. And, you know, we were told differently back then. When I say back then, when IRAs started, Patty, can you look up when it started? I want to say IRAs started in 68 or 72.
IRAs or 401ks?
IRAs. 401k started in 1978. I think IRAs started a few years before that. But I remember when we were talking about...
When did you say?
72?
74.
74. Okay. So IRAs started in 1974. When did the Roth start, Patty? Do you know? I think that was 91.
Like 90.
Something like that. So we were told that when we retired, that we would be in a lower
98.
tax bracket. Okay. And the Roth started in 98. So the original IRA started in 74. The Roth started in 1998. And Social Security got taxed. They agreed to tax it after Reagan left out of office. He signed a deal with the Democrat or Republican Congress with Bill Clinton, and Al Gore voted the final vote, where up to 85% of your Social Security is taxed. So right now, all retirees are in a tax trap, and they don't even realize it, and they don't even realize where it's going to go. And we're going to focus on this today because if you don't realize where it's going to go, you could get caught in this tax trap. Now, you can reach us at 1-800-440-0434. That's 1-800-440-0434, or go to mymoneyissafe.com. That's mymoneyissafe.com. Well, I want to welcome Patty, who is here with me, and as always, and she's behind the solar storm. I'm looking at her on Facebook, and I see the Aurora Borealis, glowing behind you, Patty.
Exactly.
How are you doing today?
I am doing great, Greg. It's good to have you here in the office with us.
Well, it's good to be here in the office. That's for sure.
I know your clients miss you, so they're thrilled you're here. Well, your Greenville clients miss you, and your Florida clients now miss you, but yeah. But we got them now. Yay, guys.
We are in an expansion mode, and I want to put this out there for any of our listeners that in our Greenville office, we are moving to a different office about 500 yards from our current office. We're going to have double the space. Ladies and gentlemen, do you realize that you have the potential of a tax trap? That's right. If you have an IRA or 401k and you don't have a tax plan, you are going to fall into a trap. And that trap is when taxes rise, and they're about to. And if you hear about what's going on, and I'm going to dive into it a little bit deeper, you will be shocked. Give us a call at 1-800-440 0434. Go to mymoneyissafe.com. Joe Biden, and this is not my quote, but Joe Biden said nobody under $400,000 will have their taxes raised, period.
Really?
Yes. Let me refer that to something. Nobody will have to change their doctors when we go to the Affordable Care Act. Okay? Nobody. You can choose your own doctors. You won't have to change doctors. Do these guys lie? Or do they even know what the truth is? So, have you ever heard of a bait and switch, folks? Okay. $400,000 will have they will not have their taxes raised, period. This reminds me of another lie. No, read my lips. No new taxes cost them the election. Okay. So it doesn't matter what side of the aisle that you're under. These people tend to lie. And it's very important to understand what we're talking about here, because folks are not getting, they're not getting this. So it's important to understand what's taking place. So folks, I just cannot reiterate how important it is for you to not get caught in this tax trap. So folks, you can give us a call, 1-800-440-0434, or go to mymoneyissafe.com. All right, so Patty, before I expound on the $400,000, give me your take on this, because you've gone to some of the same stuff, and actually, I wasn't able to do the training with Stonebridge because I was recovering from surgery. Hopefully, my last one for a long time and forever, hopefully.
Hopefully.
But tell me your take on what you heard, because it's mind-boggling to me when I see what's taking place.
It is mind-boggling, and it makes me wonder, do you think that when they created the IRA and the 401k, that was for our good, that they realized what was down the road?
You know, I don't think politicians are that deep thinkers. I think they tend to buy votes. I think they try to do things that are expedient. And what's the saying? The road to hell is paved with good intentions. But I think maybe the intention was good, but I think they also saw it as an opportunity. For example, Social Security being taxed to 85%. 85%. That's a double tax.
Wow.
So that was an intention to appease. It was a tax increase on the American public, especially American seniors. Biggest tax increase we've seen. All right, because now, what if they come and say Social Security is going to be taxed at 100%? They may do that. If they've done 85, what stops them? So I don't think maybe there was the intention of that, but it's certainly that road to tax hell is going forward.
And the other biggest thing, well, that brought a question in my mind, but the other biggest thing is that I did not realize the bills that are not passed, etc., that they stay on the books and are just waiting for another time to come out.
Exactly.
I did not think about it like that. And it's so true. It's just like we're waiting for that hammer to drop.
Well, let me say something to you, Patty. Bill Clinton, I think, was one of the most brilliant politicians we ever had. How were his morals? Well, that's not for me to judge, other than the fact that he's not something I want to go hang out with in some island or something like that, So, but he was a brilliant politician. He coined phrases like, I do not recall. I didn't have blip, blip, blip with that woman. Okay. And so he had a legal mindset. I don't know who said this saying, and I don't know, maybe we could research it, but they said the undoing of our Constitution will be it'll be undone by lawyers.
Oh, wow.
And you see right now all of the judicial problems that we have. You have these judges that are acting like dictators. Some of them are appointed. Unelected judges are just taking over control of our country along with legislatures. And I don't believe that was the founding fathers' intention. But that's the fruition of that, of the legal ramifications. You see lawsuits. I hear the term lawsuits. When President Trump was in office, I heard more about lawsuits against the president or against the Congress than I ever did my entire life. We never heard the term lawsuits, but now it's a lawsuit, which means it gets tied up in court. So the courts have a lot of juristic control, and that's the problem with it. Folks, you can reach us at 1-800-440-0434, or you can go to mymoneyissafe.com, 1-800-440-0434. So, did you find out who made that quote?
No, I could not.
Okay, we'll find it. But the point being, right now, your IRA, your 401k, you are trapped in taxes. You are trapped in taxes. If you do not have a tax strategy, right, which is like the third or fourth component of our prosperity plan. And by the way, folks, you can order our book, Prosperity Plan ABCs. And the book is ready to go. So if you would like a copy of the book, autographed copy of the book, we'll get it for you. You can email us at info@mymoneyissafe.com. That's info@mymoneyissafe.com. You can go to our website and you can request it. You can give us a call at 1-800-440-0434, or again, reach out to us and we'll be doing that. But Patty, I've said a lot with this, but don't you think that people are not prepared for taxes? How many people do we meet with? They don't even think about that conversation. They just look at their $1 million IRA and they think, wow, I'm in good shape and I want income from it.
Right. I don't think that they're prepared for taxes, especially in lieu of the fact that they're going to increase.
That's the problem.
And a lot of retirees will be faced with a higher tax, even if taxes stay the same. We'll be faced with an issue that we will address when we get back from the conference.
Yeah. And so, folks, I want you to stay tuned. We're going to dive into this. Call us at 1-800-440-0434 or go to mymoneyissafe.com.
Lavender honey from an antique school your grandmother gave you one side out view. You planned to gaze and gave it to your soon-to-be daughter. Soon you'll be somebody's father. Somebody's father.
Brandon Tatum doesn't care about the letter behind your name.
I'm a registered Republican, but I don't like Republicans either. Some of them. I think the Republican platform is more consistent with what I believe, and obviously what's best for America. There's milquetoast Republicans that I couldn't stand. I wouldn't want to walk across the street next to one of these clowns. So the Republican you don't get a pass because you got an R next to your name.
The Officer Tatum Show, weeknights at 6, right before Sebastian Gorka at 9 on AM 860, The Answer, and theanswertampa.com.
Well, summer is upon us and the weather is beautiful. Everyone has a favorite outdoor activity: golf, bike riding, bird watching, long walks. Ask 100 people and you'll get 100 answers. But if everyday aches and pains are keeping you on the sidelines, I have one answer: Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a 100% drug-free daily supplement that helps your body fight pain naturally. Developed by doctors, Relief Factor uses a unique formula of natural ingredients. It doesn't just mask pain, it helps reduce or even eliminate it. Wherever you're hurting, back, neck, joints, or muscles, in 3 weeks or less, you'll start to feel the difference all day, every day. So whatever you like to do, swimming, pickleball, hanging out in the garden, Relief Factor can help you feel good again and let you enjoy all your favorite outdoor activities all summer long. ReliefFactor.com, 1-800-4RELIEF, 1-800-473-5433. Fight pain naturally with Relief Factor.
Your muscular calves as you swiftly ran through those green fields of grass and carry.
Welcome back. This is Greg Ellie of the Prosperity Group. And the song that you heard is a song written by my daughter, Annie Ellie, and it's called Lavender Honey. Lavender Honey. And she's actually updating her website, some different things. You can actually find her music on SoundCloud. So that's Annie Ellie, ANNIE on SoundCloud. And she's got a lot of songs that are on there, and it's pretty amazing. So okay, so here's what I want to tell you. I was talking about some of the greatest lies that I've heard in political history. Number one, The first one comes to mind. Read my lips, no new taxes. That's a lie. Okay, I did not have with that woman. That's a lie. What's the other one? Nobody is going to have a tax increase if they make less than $400,000. That's a lie too. So I'm 3 for 3 on political lies right now. Okay, and that's what's going to take place. So here's the big problem, folks. You've got a 401k, you've got an IRA, and you've got a problem because what's happening is your taxes are going to go up. So it's important to understand what we're talking about, folks. It really is, because this is a problem and you don't want to get caught in it. Okay. And this is the whole point. So this interview was on Squawk Box on CNBC, May 20th, 2020. It's available online. You can look at it and you can find out about that comment. $400,000, nobody's getting any new taxes, taxes raised, period. Okay, so here's the problem that people have. All right, the question is, do we look at taxes from a micro perspective or a macro perspective? So let me discuss what I mean by that, okay? If you look at things from a micro perspective, you just want to reduce your taxes this year, and that might be helpful. Right now, we have the Trump tax cuts that dissipate after 2025. And depending on what happens with our election in the Congress, taxes could escalate substantially. They could substantially go up. So how can taxes go up? There's 3 ways taxes can go up. They raise tax brackets, they lower deductions, or they add new taxes. Let me throw a fourth in there. What happens if they decide to tax more of your 401k or your IRA? All right. Why do you think the government has raised the tax age to 73? Because they want you to defer longer. That's a 3-year difference, because many people that don't need the money don't have a tax plan. And because they don't have a tax plan, they don't do about it. So chances are their $1 million IRA might grow to $1.5 million, which means now the government's getting more taxes on that $1.5 million, and you've just fallen into the tax trap. Or you can have a macro goal. A macro goal is, how can I reduce taxes over my lifetime? So folks, we are going to do a macro analysis right now on a 64-year-old. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share this on Facebook so you can actually look at this. All right, we're going to actually do a screen share so you can look at this right here on Facebook. Folks, you can go to Facebook Live and you can actually watch the show on Facebook, and we're going to talk about this. All right, so right now we're going to talk about a 64-year-old. All right, hey Kay, how are you doing? We're going to look at a 64-year-old that's in a 25% tax liability. He's got a $500,000 IRA, and he's going to get an annual growth of 5%. All right, so these are hypotheticals. This is not telling you to take it, do something on that. So it's important to understand what we're talking about. So we're looking at this on a macro analysis right here. Okay. So it's very, very important that you understand what we're talking about. So we're going to make an assumption. Okay. The assumption is that the man's going to live to 90 years old. And what's going to happen is there's IRS rules. There's going to be taxes paid on his RMDs, required minimum distribution, taxes paid on growth on reallocated assets. So here's what the IRS is hoping that you do. You take your RMD and you don't take any advantages at all on how to properly handle your RMD. One of the things you can do is called the QCD, Qualified Charitable Deduction, which we have many of our clients doing. So this is important that you understand. So folks on the radio, I'm showing a chart on Facebook. You can go to Prosperity Group at Facebook and you can actually look at this right here. I'm putting it on the screen. Okay, don't do it while you're driving. Pull over if you do that, please. And it's going to show you what the numbers look like because it's crazy. So we're looking at, we'll just call him Don. Don's got an IRA and he's 64 years old. He's in a 25% tax liability, and he's getting growth of 5%. He doesn't need the RMDs, so he's going to just put it in another financial vehicle, and he's going to live to age 90. Okay. All right. He is now remember, he's got a $500,000 IRA. His taxes on the RMDs are $204,000. All right, $204,000. And the taxes he's going to pay on his reallocated growth is $96,000. Now, guess what? He's going to pay taxes 3 different ways from the same money, or his family will, because the taxes paid on death by his heirs are going to be $156,000. So out of his $500,000 IRA, you know how much he paid in taxes? 456. We'll just round up, $457,000. Is that a trap? Now do the math, folks. If you got $1 million IRA, that's $903,000 or $4,000. Is that what you want to do? Do you feel that that's a trap? So what's the solution, folks? Well, what if you convert to tax-free? What if you convert to tax-free? See, this is something we have a conversation with our clients. Most people, and you tell me if this resonates with you, most people say, oh, I just want my account to grow. Patty, how many people that we meet, they have trouble understanding the income concept because their mindset is just growth. We met with somebody yesterday. Oh, I can get 5% in a CD right now.
We hear that all the time. And the reason being, it's not their fault. That's the mode that they've been in their entire life.
Exactly.
Accumulate, grow, grow, grow. Not how to make that last and provide them with a lifetime income.
That's correct.
But that's what we're here for.
Yet people are worried about running out of money.
Exactly. But they don't understand what's going to be their biggest deficit, their biggest cost, their biggest liability, and that's the taxation.
No, you're absolutely right. Tom, one of our faithful listeners, says raising taxes would spell disaster. Raising SSI or Social Security is a big problem. It's when the government takes a promise away from the people. Raising taxes overall will hurt the country more than it is. Patty, we put the debt clock and we looked at this yesterday. We're hovering at 35 trillion in debt. We are upside down about $9 trillion a year. That's not even counting the interest.
Right.
$9 trillion a year. So what I mean, actually, the debt's $9 trillion, and I'm being kind. Our tax revenue is $5 trillion. So what do you think our smart politicians are going to do? Oh, we need to raise taxes. They are going to, I call it economic constipation. They are constipating the economy. And we are witnessing what took place with Jimmy Carter, and we are witnessing the same thing, except inflation is 300% worse under Biden than it was under Jimmy Carter. 300% worse. Folks, if you do not have a tax plan right now, you could be losing most of your money that you've worked hard to accumulate. And the IRS is after your IRA. This is the purpose of this, to discuss this right here, because they've created the rules, but there are strategies, and that strategy is to use a tax-free conversion. Let me rephrase that. Convert to tax-free. Just to be clear, you cannot get out of paying the taxes on your IRA. Tell me what that advisor told the client. It blew me away.
It was unreal. I met with a client actually on Memorial Day. And please, anytime someone gives you advice, get two opinions. Okay. And the reason is that this client was told by another advisor that they could roll their RMD into a self-directed IRA and avoid taxes. And they were so adamant about it. And I kindly didn't want to say, you're wrong. But finally, after humming and hawing, I finally said, it's probably one moment. So I called Greg. Greg, I'm sorry to bother you, but, and I had him on speaker. He was like,
I know.
And so Greg's like, what? No. And I was like, thank you. Voice of reason. But no, the R in RMD stands for required.
Right.
And so you're not going to get around that.
You cannot get around that.
But our job is to do it the most cost efficient way for you.
Now, when we start doing managed money, which I'm excited about, we're going to show strategies where you can take advantage of some of those things with gains and losses. Folks, stay tuned. 1-800-440-0434. Go to mymoneyissafe.com. We'll be right back.
Help me stand up. I need you. I need you. Jesus, I need you. I need you. I need you. Jesus, I need you. I need you. Jesus, I need
Ladies and gentlemen, is anybody talking to you about taxes? Is anyone talking to you about no new taxes, more new taxes? Is anyone talking to you about a tax trap? I actually said tax crap, and I think taxes are crap, but that's another story. But we all have to pay them. So, folks, we do have a solution. Call us at 1-800-440-0434. Let's show you our tax-free strategies that could really change your life. We'll be right back.
Experience the best selection of cigars and accessories in the country. Corona Cigar is located at 4142 West Boy Scout Boulevard across from International Plaza, or visit coronacigar.com.
With SRN News, I'm Jeremy House in Washington. Former President Donald Trump was the target of an apparent assassination attempt at a Pennsylvania rally yesterday. It was just days before he was to accept the Republican nomination for a third time. The FBI named 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks of Bethel Park, Pennsylvania, as the suspected shooter. The local prosecutor said Crooks and at least one attendee were dead. The U.S. Secret Service is investigating how the gunman, armed with an AR-style rifle, was able to get close enough to shoot and injure Mr. Trump. The Secret Service said the gunman fired multiple shots at the stage from a high position outside of the rally venue. Treason cases were once rare in Russia, a handful each year, but they, along with espionage prosecutions, have skyrocketed since the invasion of Ukraine in 2022. More details at srnews.com.
Dr. Sebastian Gorka sees a turn.
I think that Biden debated as well as Abraham Lincoln. If you dug him up right now.
They've turned. Jeff, you said something after we played through all of those, and you said something about Kamala. What did you say?
It's going to be Kamala. We're starting to roll it out on The View. It's definitely going to be her.
America First with Dr. Sebastian Gorka. Weeknights at 9, right before Kevin Jackson at midnight on AM 860, The Answer and theanswertampa.com. Helping you get where you're trying to go. Get digital media solutions for your business. Visit surroundtampa.com. Surroundtampa.com.
For today, a mix of clouds and sun with a couple of thunderstorms, especially late, humid, high 92. Tonight, a thunderstorm in spots early this evening, partly cloudy and humid, low 78. Tomorrow, humid with periods of clouds and sun, a thunderstorm in parts of the area in the afternoon, high 93. Get your weather news when and how you want it, wherever you are. Download our free app or visit AccuWeather.com. That's your AccuWeather forecast. I'm Caitlin Lawrence for AM 860, The Answer.
Precious Lord, please take my hand. It's you I need to help me stand up.
All right, folks. So you've been listening to us. You can reach us at 1-800-440-0434. Go to mymoneyissafe.com. If you would like to order the book, my new book, it's called Prosperity Plan ABCs. All right. Talks about strategies that are fantastic, that can help your accounts. And also, right now, we're going to focus on something that's really important. And in the second book that's coming out shortly, I'm going to expound on it even more, but it's how to convert to tax-free. And we have a vehicle, and if you want to learn about it, it's called a P-slip, all right? Properly structured life insurance plan. So right now, folks, and by the way, the song you heard was written by my late wife, Marie Ellie, and myself. We wrote it in 1990. It's called I Need You, and I believe we all need Jesus, especially when it comes to taxes, we need Jesus. But when it comes to life these days, we definitely need Jesus every day. So what's the solution to this tax quagmire, this tax trap? Well, where you can convert to tax-free. All right, so how do you do that? So let me just show you one example. And we were talking about this earlier. Well, we're going back to Dave. He's a 64-year-old. He's in a 25% tax liability. He's got a $500,000 IRA. He's going to live to 90 years old. He's growing at 5% annually. And right now we determined that out of 500,000, about 484,000 goes to taxes. All right, that's if he lives to 90, he has a spousal rollover, and then the taxes that his heirs pay. So most of that money goes to taxes. So I think it was 456. So now let's look and see what a tax-free strategy will do to his overall taxes, okay? All right. He converts his IRA to a Roth IRA. And so he decides that he's going to pay his taxes on that conversion immediately, okay? So what does that mean? That means that on his IRA, 125,000 gets paid immediately in taxes. But guess what? No more taxes on the growth. No more taxes at death. So he reduced his taxes from $456,000 to $125,000. Now, which one of that is better? All right, which one of that is better? Would you rather pay $456,000 in taxes or $125,000 in taxes? Now, I'm going to give you a phrase that we use, all right? And if you would like to learn how to do that, but not do it all at once, we have something that we call a Rothing strategy, where you can actually take that same strategy, and depending on your age, you can do that over 5 years. Now, Patty, I want to look at this number. If we make that $1 million IRA, instead of 900 and whatever going to taxes for him and his family, or her and her family, we reduce that to $250,000. Now, that's a no-brainer, but people aren't having that conversation. You know why? They got the John D. Rockefeller strategy. How much money do you need, Mr. Rockefeller? Just a little bit more. Just a little bit more.
Because they don't want to face the music, so they keep putting it off.
Exactly. And you know the other problem, and I actually blame accountants for this. Accountants are taught defer, defer, defer. But they never undefer, undefer, undefer. So basically what that is, it's procrastinate, procrastinate, procrastinate. And then worry about it after you're done procrastinating. Wow, how does that strategy work? How did that strategy work in life? Never worked for me.
Never does work.
Folks, if you would like a report, and this is a sample report, we will send it out to you. It's on your potential tax impact. We will send you a sample report. And then we can also, once you reach out to us, we'll give you a sample report with your numbers on there. Okay, you can request that. You can go to info@mymoneyissafe.com. Folks, let me tell you something. I don't like gimmicks. I listen to some of these other shows. The first 10 callers are going to get a report. That's such a lie. Anybody who calls the show is going to get a report. So I'm not going to play that game. If you like a report, just request the report and we'll get you a sample report right now. Okay. Yeah, one of our clients wrote on here, yes, worry later, but it's our money and the government continues to reach in our pockets. That's so true. So get this report of the potential tax impact right here. Folks, you can be looking at a sample of it right now on Facebook. And we are going to focus on this a lot because this is something that we're not talking. We've been talking and focusing a lot on inflation. I think everybody agrees that inflation is through the roof right now. But this is a kissing cousin of inflation, which is your potential tax impact. So we just showed you a solution of what happens if you convert to a Roth. But a lot of factors could take place. What happens if we're older? You know, what do we do? So I've got it on our sheet. Would you rather pay $450,000 over time or just knock it down to $125,000? These are questions that you've got to understand, okay? Now, here's the other impact, Patty. What happens if taxes rise? What happens if taxes rise? So these are issues that we've got to understand. So we're going to talk about something called the middle quintile, okay? Now, this is going to shock people, Patty. But do you realize that in 2000, our taxes were 6% higher than they were in 2020? 6% higher. So for those of you who think they can't go back up, well,
Or for those of you that think taxes are high now.
right. This is the lowest that they've been. So I'm showing on our chart right here, taxes in 2020 were at 22%, in 2000 were at 28%. So basically, taxes were 30% higher in 2000. Do you think that if the Democrats get in here, they're going to want to lower this? So let's take that same 64-year-old Dave, and now let's add the extra 6% to his tax liability. And I'm just going to scroll down for time's sake here. Now, guess how much of his taxes that he's going to pay? He put in 500. Listen to me very carefully, folks. He put in $500,000. He's getting 5% growth. He's in a 32% tax liability. On his $500,000 IRA, he's paying $578,000 in taxes over his lifetime. That's more than his IRA is worth. Okay? Folks, if you don't do anything about that, that's huge. So what's the solution? The solution is convert to a Roth or convert to a Rothing strategy with a strategic plan of lowering your taxes. I'm going to tell you, 55-year-olds, early 60-year-olds, you have a golden opportunity to follow this track strategy. Give us a call at 1-800-440-0434 or go to mymoneyissafe.com. mymoneyissafe.com. Patty, I said a mouthful. I want your comments on this. You know, we've looked at this, but I think this is impactful if people are listening and they're paying attention to this.
It's very impactful. There are a lot of things to consider because we have met with clients that did a Rothing strategy type of instrument, and it caused them to go into a tax crunch situation.
Right.
So that's what we like to talk to you about.
Right.
It's not a one size fits all. This is a concept of which is to be used and tweaked to suit your needs.
Right.
And to get you into the best position.
And no, most advisors don't know this strategy. They don't practice this strategy. And here's one of the potential pitfalls. Let's say it's done wrong. And it's done at 64 years old.
And we have met with these people.
Yes. And now your Medicare goes up to $458 a month. Okay. These are potential pitfalls. So there is a correct way to do it and an incorrect way to do it. Folks, you want to learn the correct way, call us at 1-800-440-0434. That's 1-800-440-0434 or go to mymoneyissafe.com. Now listen, folks, I ran into people right now that think CDs are their solution. CD is another tax trap. I'm going to say it the way it is. A CD is another tax trap. You know why? You are losing 80 on a 5% CD. Listen to me, folks. If you got $100,000 5% CD, you are losing $8,400 of purchasing power. If I look at the same standards of inflation as we did in 1980 to now, $8,400. So all these people that are jumping into CDs, oh, I'm getting 5%. They don't understand taxes. They don't understand the macro viewpoint of taxes. Not trying to be disrespectful, folks, but that's why you need to call us. Give us a call at 1-800-440-0434 or go to mymoneyissafe.com. That's mymoneyissafe.com. And we will be with you in any way we can to help you solve the problem. Folks, if you look on our website, you look on Facebook, you see that you pay more on your IRA than it's actually worth over time. That's the problem. Patty, we got about 30 seconds. Any words on that right now?
Just that it's true. As I've said before, get a second opinion. Please call us. And like Greg has said previously, these are also strategies and things that even your tax accountant will not share with you.
Absolutely.
Mainly because they don't have the knowledge. Go ahead.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back. We're out of time. And Patty's right. The CPA won't talk to you about it very often. And go to mymoneyissafe.com. We'll be right back.
Come bring me your softness. Comfort me through all this madness. Jesus, I know with you I'm born again.
Come give me a sweet.
This is Greg Ellie of the Prosperity Group. How can we help you? We're talking about tax traps. We can run an RMD account analysis. We can go to the potential tax impact of not having tax planning, and we could show you what your tax liability is on your money. You want to find out how we can help you with this? Give us a call at 1-800-440-0434 or go to mymoneyissafe.com. We'll also be talking to you about our holistic retirement book. We'll be right back.
Hi, everyone. If you've been injured in an accident that was not your fault, listen up. We have legal professionals standing by to answer your questions for free. Call now and find out if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. Call 800-504-8790. I'm here with spokesman John Wolf. So, John, tell everyone listening who should call right now.
Well, Maria, first off, thank you for having me here. It's always nice to answer the listeners' questions. Now, as far as who should call in, anyone who's been injured in an accident and think you deserve compensation, give us a call right now. 800-504-8790. You'll find out if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth.
Thanks, John. You heard it, folks. Take advantage of this opportunity and call now. 800-504-8790.
Advertisement sponsored by Legal Help Center, may not be available in all states.
Now there's you, there's no weakness, resting safe within your arms. I'm born again.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. When you are listening to our radio show and you watch us on Facebook, it reminds me of Rush Limbaugh. He always talked to Snerdley, but nobody knew who Snerdley was, and you didn't know what he looked like. I didn't know if he was really alive, but apparently he was. But anyway, I'm talking to Ken, and yes, he is alive because he can pull the plug on me right now. He's got that much power. So, folks, we're talking about the tax trap. Don't fall into the tax trap. And I want you to give us a call at 1-800-440-0434. We have the new Holistic Retirement Complimentary book. We've got reports, sample reports we will get to you on a tax analysis on your IRA, your qualified analysis, your potential tax impact, and also your RMD account. So if you'd like to take advantage of that, that would be great. Hey, by the way, a client said that Snerdley is on WABC radio, and that's in New York City. Okay, we'll have to find Snerdley. He really does exist.
Yes, Virginia, there is a Snerdley.
There is a Snerdley. By the way, folks, the song that you heard was the first song that I recorded with my late wife called "With You I'm Born Again," written by Billy Preston and Sarita in 1981. And we tweaked the words a little bit, and we'll let you know how to get our music. We're working on some things right now, but I'm going to put our other book that's available for you as well. And if you'd like to get a copy of that book, that's important, folks. And so, Patty, what do you think about what we're talking about here? You know,
I think that it is a way for our clients to enhance their portfolio. It's a way for their money to last them longer. It's a way for them to provide for their heirs better. It's just part of the financial planning tool that we do.
Right.
Or strategy that we do.
It truly is.
And it's important. It's an important part that a lot of people don't think about.
Right. Right. It is, because you know what? We've been geared into such a survival mode that people don't really, they're just trying to survive right now.
Well, and we've always been told there are two things you have to do in life.
Pay taxes and die.
Exactly. And that is true. But it's not that you don't pay taxes, but it's the way you do pay taxes.
It's the way you pay taxes. That's right. I'm trying to think of an analogy here, but if I'm trying to deal with something one step at a time, it's a systematic approach. And I guess I look at on my book right here, the Prosperity Plan, ABCs, annuities build control safely within your retirement nest egg. This is a strategy, a deferral strategy, but it's not the end all be all. And if people want a free copy of the book is out, and it gives the analogy of the turtle and the hare. The turtle finishes the race. The hare barely gets there, and he's up and down, and he's out of wind, but that slow moving turtle continues to finish the race. And so if you want to take advantage of that, folks, you can. And so it's really, really important that you take advantage of this, folks. Give us a call, 1-800-440-0434, or go to mymoneyissafe.com, mymoneyissafe.com. Patty, I look at these strategies, and it just, human nature doesn't change. I remember I read a book called The Imitation of Christ. It was written in the 16th or 17th century by St. Thomas à Kempis. He's talking to 17th century people. You might as well have thought he was talking to us today.
It's amazing.
Nothing new under the sun. And so the same pitfalls, insecurities existed with people in the 1700s as they do now. The difference is we are now in the information age. There's so much misinformation that appears quickly as much as there's good information. So there's a measure of confusion in trying to determine what to do. Folks, if you want to stop the insanity, look at strategies where we can help you. Give us a call, and we'll be glad to help on this mode, folks. And by the way, if you want a copy of my new book, Prosperity Plans ABC, then let us know. You can order it at info@mymoneyissafe.com. That's info@mymoneyissafe.com. All right, Patty, we're going to bring the boat home, the ship home. What's your thoughts as we go forward here?
I think that there are two things. One of them is the defunding of the traditional IRA, and the best way to do that will save on taxes. But not only that, the best way to grow your money after taxes.
Right.
Because, you might look at something and one account will say, just avoiding everything we're saying, you're just going to do it the vanilla way. And let's say that gives you $5,000 a month.
Right. Yeah.
And then you might have something else. The tax-free strategy gives you $4,200, $3,800 a month. And you're like, well, why would I do that?
Right.
Well, yeah, tax-free. And if you think that taxes are going down, then this show is not for you.
Right. That's
but
true.
if you think taxes are going to stay the same or go up, then heed the call.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. That's true.
Something's got to happen with the deficit. Something's got to happen with that. Taxation in some form or fashion is going to, will be part of it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
However that looks. And so we would be fooling ourselves if we thought that it wasn't going to affect us.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Without a doubt. And it will, because inflation's already affecting us.
Absolutely.
Now you throw in taxes right now. Here's the problem, Patty. I've got two warnings for our listeners right now. Okay, warning number one is when this market, and listen to what I'm saying, when this market tanks.
You said if?
No, not if, when.
Okay, just want to be sure.
When people are going to get caught off guard. We met with somebody yesterday. Oh, I'm up. He thought they were up, and he hadn't looked at his statement lately.
Right, and he's right back where he was.
He's right back where he was. So, yeah, he was up, but, he was up, and now he's down.
And not only that, let's say that, okay, you do have your eyes on it, and you're like, okay, oh my gosh, look at that. Look at CNN or whatever it is that you watch. Fox, I don't know. And they say the market is down 500, it's down 800, it's down 1,000. And it's just that snowball that we've talked about.
Right.
Okay, call your broker. Guess what? You're not the only one calling your broker.
That's right.
So guess what? It's going to slip through.
It's going to slip through.
And you're not going to get sold out.
No, see, that's what I'm worried about. I really think that when this thing hits, when people are unprepared, what is it called? Irrational exuberance, where you feel that everything's okay, but then it verges on irrationality because you're getting things that you want. So you can't see when you don't get what you want, when it changes, and you may not react quick enough. So there's market risk, there's tax risk right now. And right now, folks, I'm going to say this This is the highest guarantees I've ever seen, and I expect them to start changing shortly.
And I also want to point out that if you look at what the market has averaged, it's 6.12, isn't it?
6.05.
6.05. Okay.
In the biggest bull run we've had in 20 years.
6.0. Okay. If you take the strategies that we have, the lowest one is 7% compounded.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, Doc, you loaded there.
Higher
on average on a buy and hold.
Exactly. And you're not taking any of that risk.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
I
can hear you. I can't see you anymore, but I can hear you.
No, we're not.
You want to see me?
I think we have one account that's
Of course I do. I love you. You know that. Oh, there we are. Yeah,
So
okay, beautiful.
folks, these are strategies.
Ain't that cute? It is. The screen is always messed with lipstick when I'm done with your show because I kiss it so much.
Or go to mymoneymonday.com. Let me kind of.
And don't ask me why I'm wearing lipstick.
If you'd like to get our book, The Prosperity Plan ABC.
Maybe you're ready to go on
air live. Copy of it.
FaceTime, baby.
We'll be glad to share that with you.
No. Radio people should never be
Some
seen.
of my personal stories and some of the strategies that we implement with our clients.
So what's new?
Get your tax report.
I don't know. Nothing much in the news today.
On our website. Give
How's
us a
Trump
call
doing?
on these
Okay,
things, folks, and we'll be glad
Yeah, I think
to
it's
help you.
I think
Very,
he's probably
very
a little
important.
worried, but
Patty,
yeah,
any
that would shake you out.
parting words right now?
I hear he took one in the chest too,
on
but he
this?
had on a flak jacket.
Just that it's not too late.
That I hadn't heard yet. So
That's
Don't
what my
stick your
wife
head in the
said.
sand,
So
like Greg likes to say, don't ignore
she's
it.
watching the news and
Please call us.
she
Let
watches
us help
Korean
you.
news, and I guess they get
Please
stuff
refer us
fairly
to your
early
friends
over
and
there. So.
family. We would,
well, I've been
that's what we're
hearing
doing more than
different
any-
descriptions of the guy. He apparently made some contributions, some left-wing organization, but then I hear other people saying he is a registered Republican in good standing. So I don't know.
You tuning in.
Yeah, that's what the paper
Prosperity
said.
Hour, and we're
So,
here.
I guess he's a little confused.
We are in Florida. We are in Greenville. We're in the Tampa
Well,
Bay.
he was confused.
Bradenton, Palmetto, Sarasota.
He is no more.
Well, everybody is okay.
And,
I guess that
you give us a
I
call, folks.
did I don't know who killed the other people. Was it the gunman or was it the Secret Service?
Or go to mymoneyissafe.com.
I didn't see the Secret Service firing any shots. I thought the gunman got somebody in.
On tax planning.
But I don't know.
Somebody shot the gunman, so I'm trying to. I don't know the connection between all that. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Well, I think they had a sniper
to talk to you and get together. It's
up
been
on the roof
a number of
looking
years.
for
I keep up with you on
snipers. I guess he's the anti-sniper, and maybe he shot him, but they
folks,
probably
I'm
won't
talking
tell
to
you
people
who
on
shot him.
Facebook, we're talking to you on the radio.
No, but
stay
there
in
were
touch
other
with
people
folks.
injured, so I'm wondering if that was a sniper
give us a
just
call,
firing at
folks.
random,
Thank
or
you so
what was
much
he
for
doing?
tuning
Because
in
if
today.
he hit
Stay
Trump,
tuned for
he
our
knew what he was
webinars.
doing. I'm
Stay tuned. We're gonna
surprised he
be
would
having
just
some really
shoot other
interesting,
people there.
fascinating webinars. Look for us on
Unless
He
he
must
hates all
not have been that
Republicans.
great.
See you soon.
He,
Patty, any parting words? You got 8
He
seconds.
didn't kill him.
8 seconds. God bless everyone. Thank you.
God bless.
Oh, it'll help. It'll put him in office, I'll bet.
I think so. Lee Harvey Oswald. I mean, he got off with a bolt action rifle. He got off three shots in under a minute, and they all hit. They were all dead center.
Well, he was a trained sniper. That's why I'm thinking this is not.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, this kid wasn't
a
trained. He was
military guy doing
Today
this.
we are talking about you might fall into the
Yeah, the
retirement.
Marines were
tax
real
trap.
proud of
Folks,
Lee
if you want
Harvey
to fall into
Oswald.
that trap, you need to take.
Well,
some steps. I heard a pastor say
I think
one time,
that'll
when you're in a
be
hole,
the sympathy
stop
vote
digging,
that he will get
climb
that will
out.
put him over the
Let
top.
us help you climb out of your
Hope
tax
so.
trap hole. Again, go to mymoneyissafe.com.
Have you heard
Go to
anything
info at
about Project
mymoneyissafe.com.
25?
We'll help you any way we can. We'll see you next week. God
Just
bless.
I hear Trump saying he
Preceding
doesn't
is
know anything
sponsored
about
by
it. Other than
Prosperity
that, I
Group
heard it's got
LLC
some
and
nasty
is a
things in it.
pre-recorded
But other than
program.
that, I haven't
To learn more,
really looked into
visit
it. myself yet.
mymoneyissafe.com.
Yeah, the
That's
left's going after him.
mymoneyissafe.com.
Predicts what the
Saying
Democrat
Project
ticket looks
25
like.
is
Financial Times this morning.
fascist and
Democrat donors push Gretchen Whitmer
anti-democracy
and
and all
Gavin
this,
Newsom
and
as
the
Joe
Trump's
Biden
part of it.
replacement. You know, it's going to be coming.
I don't know. I haven't read it. It's
Don't
900
even
pages
try.
long. I'm not
It's
going to
gonna
be reading.
Josh Shapiro, because
No, it's too much.
Some things are simple. Joe Biden should not be president.
I
of
think
Congress.
Nobody should be worried about it anyway. I mean, it's
Some
just
things are
a
simple.
think tank thing. It's got to go through a lot to become law.
Yeah, and I think that Trump's going to do what he's going to do anyway. He doesn't care what anybody
This is
says.
Dennis Prager, and now a truly
especially in the second term,
exciting
yeah.
new benefit. My
Yeah.
monthly online video get-together for Prager.
All right,
will,
Doc, we are at
Plus
8:57 here, 8:58 now. We'll catch you
All
after
right.
the weather sometime. I think you got 2 commercials now after the weather, and then we
I'll
start.
be
We'll
answering
be
your
there when you are.
I've never done this. Submit your questions for me at pragertopia.com. This is our chance to connect like never before. Go to pragertopia.com or click the banner at dennisprager.com.
All right, folks. Well, here's your final opportunity. If you want to try Dr. Janet's extra strength glucosamine pain relief formula, there's a special toll-free number to call. Write it down and then give them a call. It's 1-800-467-9709. And as we've talked about today, Dr. Janet's formula is a fast-acting glucosamine cream that provides relief on contact for those nagging aches and pains in your joints, your neck, your back, your shoulders, your wrists, hands, and knees, basically anywhere that it hurts. And the best part is it's odorless, it's greaseless, and it won't stain. So you can use this every day, even under your best clothes. And if you call in the next 10 minutes, you're also going to receive an extra free supply with your order today. You can keep that for yourself, share it with a family member or a friend. But folks, this is a really great offer. So that number to call is 1-800-467-9709.
The joint supplements of today are sadly incomplete because they don't start relieving joint discomfort immediately. Until now. Introducing the complimentary 2-week sample of fast-acting Instaflex, our most powerful joint formula ever. It can start relieving joint discomfort in just a few days. Claim your sample today. 1-800-451-3542. Great for your knees, hands, even your hips. Fast-acting Instaflex is available at GNC, but you can only get your complimentary 2-week sample by calling 1-800-451-3542. 1-800-451-3542.
WGUL and W229DJ Dunedin. Powered by Prosperity Group. Come grow with us and reach your retirement goals.
Experience the best selection of cigars and accessories in the country. Corona Cigar is located at 4142 West Boy Scout Boulevard across from International Plaza, or visit coronacigar.com.
With SRN News, I'm Jeremy House in Washington. Former President Donald Trump was the target of an apparent assassination attempt at a Pennsylvania rally yesterday, days before he was to accept the Republican nomination for a third time. Mr. Trump, who suffered an injury to his right ear, is recovering at his home in New Jersey. A special agent in charge at the FBI Pittsburgh field office, Kevin Rojek, says it appears law enforcement did not know the shooter was on the roof until he began firing.
It is surprising, but again, to get all the details of that will come out later in the investigation.
The FBI named 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks of Bethel Park, Pennsylvania, as the suspected shooter. A local prosecutor said Crooks and at least one attendee were killed. Also on srnews.com, President Biden spoke with Donald Trump following the attack.
The president was at church in Delaware Saturday evening when shots were fired at the Trump rally. After learning of the incident and getting briefed by officials, Mr. Biden condemned the attack.
We cannot allow for this to be happening. We cannot be like this. We cannot condone this.
He also spoke to Trump by phone and said he was grateful to hear that he was safe. Mr. Biden called for unity and later returned to the White House to continue monitoring developments following the assassination attempt. Greg Clugston, Milwaukee.
Treason cases were once rare in Russia, a handful each year, but they, along with espionage prosecutions, have skyrocketed since the invasion of Ukraine in 2022. In a clash over the past versus the future, some descendants of enslaved people at St. John the Baptist Parish, Louisiana, are fighting to keep a grain terminal from being built in their historic black neighborhood. The Greenfield Wallace Grain Export Facility would take in and export grain byproducts via trucks.
Let's see, if something costs less and people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, right? And that is MediShare, an amazing program. Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save families up to $500 a month, and that's huge. But it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of typical health insurance plans. Double. MediShare Works has been around for 30 years, and members have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a nationwide PPO network. So yes, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your healthcare. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you want to just plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes and see what you can save. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here is the number you need, 844-94-BIBLE. That is 844-94-BIBLE. 844-94-BIBLE.
Helping you get where you're trying to go. Get digital media solutions for your business. Visit surroundtampa.com. Surroundtampa.com. Just when you thought your smartphone couldn't get any smarter, now you can add the AM860 app with local news, national headlines, and commentary. The answer is smart. Adding the AM860 app to your smartphone is genius. Get it now at the Apple App Store and Google Play.
For today, a mix of clouds and sun with a couple of thunderstorms, especially late, humid, high 92. Tonight, a thunderstorm in spots early this evening, partly cloudy and humid, low 78. Tomorrow, humid with periods of clouds and sun, a thunderstorm in parts of the area in the afternoon, high 93. Get your weather news when and how you want it wherever you are. Download our free app or visit AccuWeather.com. That's your AccuWeather forecast. I'm Caitlin Lawrence for AM 860, The Answer.
The following program is sponsored by Bay Area Medical Can Care Clinic.
I belong with the misfits.
And go, Doc.
Good morning, everybody. This is Dr. Bill, your radio MD, and we're coming at you on AM 860 FM. What is it?
Let me get that here. That's FM 93.7.
93.7, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, X, whatever they're calling it now. And I got Ken with me this morning. Ken, how you doing, buddy?
Just fine, Doc. How about you?
I'm good. I dodged a bullet there. I was at the Trump rally, and
You don't mean literally, though. No, we shouldn't be laughing. It's very serious stuff here.
No, it's serious. But I'm just shocked that he wasn't killed. I would have expected the shooter he was only 200-300 yards away. So, but I guess he's not a trained sniper.
Yeah, I think we can rule out the military sniper.
Yeah, I think, he's not. He was no professional. I mean, he wasn't like Lee Harvey Oswald, who cracked off 3 shots with a bolt action, and every one of them hit somebody dead center.
And, military trained sniper would not hit anybody else. And it sounds like other people were hit by gunfire.
Yeah, I think one was injured and one was killed. And my wife says, and I don't know if this is true or not, I haven't seen any reports in the English-speaking press, but she said that Trump also took one in the right flank, but he had on a flak jacket or a bulletproof vest. So apparently he had 2 shots hit him. One clipped his ear.
That I hadn't heard yet until I talked to you this morning. So,
yeah, I don't know if that's true or not, but
we'll find out. They'll be releasing all that.
Yeah, well, hopefully he'll be okay. I think this will push his ratings up a little bit.
I think it's put him over the top. I think he's going to get a lot of sympathy vote for this.
Yeah, because people are emotional and they vote, they vote their emotions a lot of times and not their intellect. It's like my son, and trying to talk to him, he just knows that Trump's no good and this and that. And
he just knows, huh?
He just knows it. And I guess he had some premonition. God must have talked to him in his sleep. But
I see. Well, that's something else then.
Yeah, I don't know how that works, but he he's like, oh, he'll get us into a war. I said, Zeke, 8 of our 10 largest wars were under Democratic presidents, not Republicans.
Hey, I got news for him. We're already in wars.
Yep.
We have cyber wars going on all over the world with people right now, especially North Korea and Russia and China.
Oh, yeah. And Iran.
Yeah, and Iran. So, they can do some real damage just that way, as can we.
And we are in proxy wars. We're supplying arms to the Ukraine. We're supplying arms to Israel. And Ukraine's fighting the Russians, who are our enemy. And Israel's fighting indirectly Iran, who's an enemy.
So we're always in a war.
Yeah.
Always.
It would not take much to push us into another world war.
No.
At this point. And the Democrats may widen the war to try to hang on to power.
True. Exactly. Yeah. Look at Roosevelt. We did not change presidents during a war. We just don't do it.
No, you don't want to change a horse in the middle of the stream. It's kind of hard to get off and back on.
Yeah, you shake up the entire government. Didn't happen with Lincoln. Didn't happen with Roosevelt. Didn't even happen with Johnson, really. He probably would have won had he run again. But he decided on he didn't want to do the second term after doing power JFK's.
Well, I think that he also was not feeling well and felt guilty about having embroiled us even deeper than Kennedy had into South Vietnam.
They say he could hear the chants in the White House of, hey, LBJ, how many kids did you kill today? And they just did it 24 hours a day.
Well, I mean, we approached that whole thing the wrong way, and we let, unlike most wars where we sit on the press, as we did in World War I and World War II, we actually censored the press. The White House and the government allowed the press to run rampant and make up all kinds of nonsense about how we were losing and what a ridiculous war it was. I think the problem there is that there was just no real planning. The supply lines were protracted, although we had worked out a lot of that, and people were demoralized by the anti-war movement, which was really just a socialist leftist movement here in this country. But that's life.
Yeah, and I mean, when those film began showing up of what was going on in Vietnam, the killing and the burning down of huts and all that, and people don't want to see that while they're having dinner, so they reacted badly to it.
Yeah,
but that is war.
But it's war. That's right. I think that the American public really didn't know what was going on in the Pacific during World War II until there were newsreels and documentaries that were made and showed in theaters. We didn't have TVs back then, as you know.
In fact, the film Taken at Tarawa, that was a terrible battle in World War II, the Battle of Tarawa. Just horrendous. It was the first really bad one. And
the Marines really took it on the chin, too.
Yes, they did. And they had a lot of film that was not very pleasant. And they were going to release it to the movie theaters. And that decision went all the way to FDR, who finally said, yeah, let the people see what's going on. This is a war. And that's the way it is. Yeah.
I mean, I've said this before on the show. We've gotten to where we're not used to seeing death, whereas 150 years ago, it was pretty common. And the kids played with death dolls and coffins, and they had death toys.
Did they really?
Yep. Because they saw their siblings die. You remember one in five died before they were 6 years old.
So they were familiar with it. Yeah.
Yeah, they were familiar with death. And as I said before, like an Irish wake, you'd take the body, you'd set it up, you wait till rigor mortis had relaxed, and you'd set the body up in the living room, and you'd have a party.
Put a drink in his hand.
Yeah. Well, that's why God created liquor.
Is that right?
Yeah, to keep the Irish from conquering the world. It worked.
Yeah.
It worked. They
took most of the police departments, but yeah.
Yeah, they got the police.
They got the police departments early on, anyway, back in the 1800s. Well, I'm glad Don's okay, and we're going to move on, see how this affects the whole campaign. I think it'll put him over the top. I think the sympathy vote will do it.
Let's hope. Let's hope something good comes out of this. You don't want to see your man killed while he's giving an address. He's not even president yet.
Yeah.
It's got
to be worth $100 million in contributions, I'll bet.
Yeah, and I think the last person who was running that I remember being assassinated before elected was Huey Long, the Louisiana politician who was challenging FDR and looked like he might have won too. I guess FDR didn't like that.
Well, Robert Kennedy was shot down before he was president.
That's true. I forgot about Robert.
Yeah. So this is
Robert Jr.'s dad.
I mean, compared to the 60s, we're still not there, folks. We had Kennedy, Martin Luther King, and Robert Kennedy all assassinated in the 60s. Yeah. So it's not as bad as the 60s yet, but it's not looking good.
We may get there. Anything
else going on we want to talk about today?
Yeah, I got a ton of things to talk about. What are you saying here, man? Of course I got things to talk about.
How could I doubt you?
How could you doubt me? No faith. So we're in the dog days of summer.
Tell me about it.
Yeah. From 7/3, July 3rd to 8/11, August 11th. And you know why they're called the dog days?
Good dogs used to die outside in the heat?
No, because the star Sirius, the dog star, is visible in the northern hemisphere now. So this goes back to Alexander the Great's time, the Hellenistic period, like 350 BC to whatever, the say 30 BC when Cleopatra died. So that was pretty much the end of the Hellenistic period, the Greek period, and then the Roman period came in and took over. But during that time, the astronomers identified the star Sirius, the Greek astronomers, and this was the dog star. Excuse my English here, and that was the hottest part of the year. And so they called those days the dog days when Sirius was available.
I love this show. I learn something new every week on this show.
So now you know something more than you didn't know.
That's right. And keep that in mind, because we have a question at the end of the show or the middle of the show, and that may very well include something like that.
So we went and visited Zeke over July 4th, as you know. I broadcasted from up there last week. And I thought he had grown, and so did my wife. And so I was worried about him. There's a disease called acromegaly and gigantism. And these are syndromes where you create too much growth hormone in your pituitary gland in your brain. It's a tumor that secretes the growth hormone, which then stimulates the insulin-like growth hormone, which stimulates bone growth and skin and everything, basically. And so I made him measure himself because I was worried, It's like, Dad, I haven't grown. Well, obviously, the problem is I'm shrinking. You say, why do you shrink as you get older? Well, you shrink because the vertebrae and the pads between them, your disc, they start to deteriorate. And as they deteriorate, you lose height. And then you start getting micro fractures in your vertebrae, especially if you're osteoporotic or osteopenic, where you have less hormones supporting your bone growth, because you're always turning your bone over, Ken. You turn your bone over about every 30 days, as I recall.
We have a new skeleton every 30 days?
Yeah. Basically, we turn over the bone every 30 days. So we have two sets of cells that form the bone, osteoclast and osteoblast. Now, the blast are the cells that lay down the calcium hydroxyapatite or whatever it is, and the clast are the ones that break it down, because we're always turning over calcium and reforming the bone to various stresses, and we also need calcium for our bloodstream for metabolic functions and some cellular functions. So we turn over our bone, and in acromegaly and gigantism, there's an abnormal stimulation of this, and so there's abnormal bone growth. And now, if you have the tumor secreting this hormone before your growth plates close, before you're an adult, then you end up looking like this guy in the background.
He's about 20 feet tall.
He was the tallest recorded human being. I think he was like 8'11". Widlow, I believe, was his last name, and he died several years ago, but I think he was in the 1980s that he died. But interesting guy and very famous. And then we also had the people that get the tumor after their growth plates are closed. And you know what the growth plates are?
No, I don't. I don't know what the growth plates are.
Okay, if you take an X-ray of a kid, you'll see the long bone, and then where it meets the joint, you'll see a little separation between the pad that sits on top of the long bone that starts to form the joint and the long bone itself, and that's cartilage. And that cartilage is called the growth plate. And that's where the long growth occurs as you pump out the hormones that are necessary for that, and you grow older. You gain height, you gain stature. And that's because of the growth plates. They allow the bones to continue to grow in a linear fashion. Now, once you get into your women earlier than men, once you get into your late teens, early 20s, those plates start to close. And it's rare that anybody has any growth in their growth plates. It would be guys at the most, 25. But usually the women are done about 18 to 21, and the guys are done 21 to 23 in terms of growth. So those are the growth plates. Now, if you have this tumor before the growth plates close, and you end up like Whitlow, who was 8'10", but if you have it afterwards, then you get frontal bossing. Let me see if I can get a picture of that for you. And
Frontal what? What's it called? Frontal what?
Frontal bossing.
Bossing?
Yeah. So
Okay.
here's a picture of, let me get this out of the way here. Okay, so this guy, you may recognize him.
Yeah, he's from the James Bond movies.
Yeah, he was in several movies.
Yeah.
He played a lot of different
He's always a bad guy. Yeah.
roles. Yeah, he was in what, I don't know, Goldfinger or something.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Yeah, I sure. He was a tall guy. You're right. Yeah.
yeah, but he actually continued to grow, and if you look at his jaw,
That's what his name. His name was Jaws in the movie. I remember. Yeah.
Yeah. His name was Jaws, and he continued to grow. This was before we knew how to treat it, and if you look at his eyebrows, if you look at the forehead there, very prominent. See that?
Yes.
So what happens, folks, for those of you who are not watching, is the bone over your eyebrow, it enlarges outward. And then your jaw also grows outward because your jaw reforms quicker than the rest of your bones because of your teeth and the need to adapt to the pressures of chewing and the growth of teeth. So that's an important thing. And
So instead of growing up, you grow out.
You grow out once your long bone growth plates close and your fingers get big and chubby. And you remember Andre the Giant?
Yes, sure.
Wrestler. So he had this tumor after he became an adult. And of course, he put on muscle mass and barrel chested. And it has a number of symptoms that are unique to these two syndromes of acromegaly and gigantism. Gigantism happens before your growth plates close, and the acromegaly after your growth plates close. And the acromegaly, your hands and feet get bigger. You enlarge features on your face like your lips and your tongue. You can get macro, which is big, glossia tongue, big tongue. You can get thickened, coarse, greasy skin, acne, because you think of growing and the things that happen to you when you're a teenager. And sweating excessively, skin tags, joint or muscle weakness and exhaustion, and limited joint motion, osteoarthritis, a voice that may be deeper and huskier, excessive snoring and sleep apnea, problems seeing, headaches. Women have irregular menstrual periods, and males have erectile dysfunction and loss of sexual enthusiasm. So these are some of the things that happen to you when you have this syndrome. And it's easy to treat now. It's easy to diagnose too, because we can draw blood and we can check your growth hormone levels and your insulin-like growth factor levels too. And we can also do an MRI or a CT of the brain, and we can actually see the tumor in the pituitary, which is a little dangly thing that hangs down from the brain, and it's right behind your nose inside your skull. So, and we can even get to that, and they do the surgery through the nose, believe it or not.
Oh, yuck.
And so you can get right back to that, and you can take the tumor out. I'm sure there's also X-ray radiation treatment or gamma knife treatment that can be used. And so this is another opportunity for treatment. And there are hormones that you can take that will stop the tumor from secreting the growth hormone. So there's a number of things that we can do now, but in the old days, we didn't have a whole lot of this. We didn't have these abilities to diagnose and treat and cure a disease like this. So then you had gigantism and you had acromegaly. And if you look at some of the real tall basketball players, you can see some of these signs and symptoms. And some of them, I'm sure, had a growth hormone tumor in infancy and childhood, and that's why they grew so big. And then they were treated successfully before they hit full adulthood. So
now, are they treating the kids now to stop growing? Have they gotten that far?
Oh yeah, you can stop the growth.
It's not just an adult thing; they also stop the growth with the kids. Okay.
Yeah, because you don't want your kid to be 8'10".
Well, no, he can't drive a car. Who can?
Well, and plus, how you gonna discipline him?
Well, yeah, but
mom,
you put a basketball in his hand. That's what you do.
What do you mean you're leaving? You can't leave. Watch me.
Yeah. I just got an announcement on my some folks out there may be interested. Shannon Doherty died. Doherty, remember Shannon Doherty from Beverly Hills 90210? Passed away today.
Yes, I do. She died. What from?
Died at 53. It doesn't say here. I just got an announcement, but I know she's pretty popular. Oh, she had cancer. Okay.
Probably breast cancer or ovarian cancer.
At 54, most likely, something like that.
Yeah, that gets the women.
So sorry to hear that.
They have their own problems. We have ours. We've got the prostate to deal with.
Yeah.
And we shrank too. Don't forget about that.
I got to come and see you. I haven't been in to see you for a while.
You better get your butt in there, buddy boy.
It's been almost a year, I think, since I've been to your office.
I'm going to have to yell at you a little bit.
Well, I had to cancel a couple of things, some carotid artery sonar thing or something.
Well, get down there. I need some cash, bud.
Now I got to do my yearly blood stuff. That's important, isn't it?
That is. It's important to take care of yourself, and you can always come to our office and get a workup, 727-384-6411, 727-384-6411. Give us a call. We have telemedicine too, Ken.
I catch those problems early, and they're not much of a problem sometimes. So.
Yeah, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Yeah,
as they say.
Get in to see the doc.
So we're planning this trip to Ireland and England at the end of August. Be gone 3 weeks. Be back in September. I have not seen Ireland. I've seen a little bit of England, but none of Ireland. So it should be interesting. We've been to London, and we drove out and about in some of the areas there.
You drove? You're a brave soul.
Well, I am brave. That's true.
We were over there, and we rented a car, and I almost got killed several times driving on the left side of the road.
I almost got killed just walking across the damn street.
Yeah, you looked the wrong way. I know. In fact, on the street, they have "Look this way" painted there.
Yeah, because they know there's a lot of idiots.
Too many Americans getting killed here.
So at any rate,
I've been to go Chris the Blarney store if you get to Ireland.
Yeah, the dollar is so strong that a lot of people are traveling in Europe. And guess what's happening? The Europeans, like the people who live in Barcelona, they can't afford their apartments anymore because they're being turned into Airbnb and VBRO and different rental units that can bring in a lot more money for the landlords. And so they're protesting now in Barcelona. So they were throwing items and spraying travelers with water and soda pop bottles, telling them to go home because they can't afford to live in Barcelona anymore. I guess they have to move out to the suburbs, huh?
I guess so. Get a better job.
And I guess this is all across Europe now because the dollar's so strong. And it's probably worse in Japan. The yen is really beat up bad. So if you're thinking about travel and you want to save some money, you want to see the Orient, by all means, go to Japan. It is cheap.
This is the time to do it. No?
Yeah, it was cheap when we were there. I think it was $1.30 or whatever it is to the dollar, and now it's like $1.60. But they use yen, so it's like 1,000 or 10,030, 10,060. I don't know why they like those big numbers, but they sure do.
Makes you sound rich.
Mm-hmm.
I just bought a car for 450 million yen.
So if you do go to Barcelona, watch out. There are people that are mad and they might spray you with water, which this time of year is not a bad thing because it is hot there. And what are
In
you going to?
Barcelona, I guess so. Spain's right on the Mediterranean, so it would be. Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of Spain is a desert. It's pretty dry.
That I didn't know. I thought most of it was mountainous.
That's in the north.
Hmm.
Pyrenees and all that, and that's where Angora is, and the Catalans are kind of northern middle on the Mediterranean coast. Catalans are Barcelona and that state, and they've been trying to break away from Spain for hundreds of years. Not very successful though. But
well, I've been to Barcelona. It's a nice, pretty city. We took a cruise starting there, so we didn't have much time to explore, but it's a pretty city.
Great city. I've been there twice and have spent several days both times. And it's one of the great cities of the world if you get a chance to go. It is also very easy to get around, relatively flat. You can ride a bicycle, you can walk, and the main drag, I think it's called the Ramblas. Is that how you pronounce it?
Beats me. I wasn't there that long to find out, but the architecture is just fantastic.
Yeah, the architecture. That's where the Familia Church is, and
right, yeah.
Gaudi, he designed that, and he designed several other buildings, and so they have been experimenting with the architecture for decades, probably a century or two, and that is one of the architectural centers of the world.
And it should be. It's fantastic. You go see. If you've never been there, go to Barcelona if you can. Yeah.
Oh, it's a beautiful city. One of the great cities of the world. Good food, very cosmopolitan. People are friendly. Well, they used to be. They're not friendly anymore.
A lot of the world is like that with us now. So. Well, Doc, you know what, Doc? I think it's time to take a break. What do you think?
I'm all for it. I'm ready to break.
All right, we got to get a cup of coffee for Doc, and we have to give away a couple of coffee mugs to you. You, the folks, the loyal listeners.
The loyal listeners.
Of Dr. Bill, your Radio MD. We got 2 Dr. Bill, your Radio MD coffee mugs. If you can correct the first person with the correct answer, and by the way, I think I'm going to institute a new rule: 1 winner per 30 days. What do you think, Doc?
That's fine with me. But
one winner per 30 days. You want to give everybody a chance to.
We're going to give everybody a chance. By the way, I forgot who won last week. You didn't send it to me.
I didn't send it. I'll get that for you. I got it on my phone, so I'll send it over.
I think it was McGee won again, but I couldn't remember for sure.
I'll check it out. I think you may be right there.
Yeah, send me the address too, buddy.
Okay, will do. I'll get that all to you.
All right, give us a question, Ken.
All right, the question is, there is a star in the sky that's only visible at this time of the year and for about a month, and it's called a dog star. What do we refer to this time of the year because of that star? What is the phrase that we use? What do we call these days because of this dog star? So, first person with the correct answer at 877-969-8600 will win the 2 mugs. That's 877-969-8600. Call now.
And don't forget Dr. Bill at 727-384-6411, 727-384-6411. We'll see you after the break, Ken.
Bet.
Experience the best selection of cigars and accessories in the country. Corona Cigar is located at 4142 West Boy Scout Boulevard across from International Plaza, or visit coronacigar.com.
With SRN News, I'm Jeremy House in Washington. Donald Trump's campaign says he is, quote, fine after what law enforcement officials are treating as an assassination attempt during a rally yesterday in Butler, Pennsylvania. Officials say the man who opened fire was 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks of Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. Officials say the suspected gunman and at least 1 attendee are dead, while 2 spectators are critically injured. President Biden says everybody must condemn the suspected assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump. Addressing the nation following the incident, Mr. Biden, quote, said, "We cannot allow this to be happening." Russian shelling of Ukraine has killed 4 people as the two countries exchanged drone attacks, one of which set ablaze a Russian oil depot. Ukraine has in recent months stepped up aerial assaults on Russian soil. More details at srnnews.com.
Dr. Bill for Bay Area Medical, located at 6399 38th Avenue North in St. Pete, 727-384-6411, 727-384-6411. Full service clinic with x-ray, heart imaging, ultrasound, stress testing, and minor surgery. We provide quality health care in a warm and friendly atmosphere. We are multilingual, well-trained, and certified. Most American insurance and new patients accepted. Bay Area Medical, home of can care, 727-384-6411. 727-384-6411. Dr. Bill here. With social distancing and sheltering in place, telemedicine is here. Bay Area Medical Home of Can Care Clinic offers telemedicine for new and established patients. You can see me without an in-office visit. Schedule an appointment at 727-384-6411, 727-384-6411. When it's time for your appointment, type this web address into your cell phone or computer web browser, doxy.me/Bay Area Med. A cell phone works well and is all you really need. For computers, you need a web camera and speakers. We'll give you this address when you call for your appointment. We accept most insurances and travel insurances. Canadians and visitors, please call your travel insurance company for an authorization number prior to the visit. Copays and deductibles apply. Self-pay rates are available. Just ask. We accept credit cards, PayPal, and Stripe. 727-384-6411, 727-384-6411. Dr. Bill here. My friends at St. Pete MRI and Sleep Diagnostics are your best choice for state-of-the-art MRI, CT, and sleep studies. Quality unsurpassed. 25 years experience makes St. Pete MRI my go-to imaging center. Self-pay rates are competitive and out-of-pocket cost a fraction of a hospital. Conveniently accessible from both sides of the bay at 750 94th Avenue North, St. Pete, near the Gandy. 727-577-2220, 727-577-2220.
Helping you get where you're trying to go. Get digital media solutions for your business. Visit surroundtampa.com. Surroundtampa.com.
For today, a mix of clouds and sun with a couple of thunderstorms, especially late, humid, high 92. Tonight, a thunderstorm in spots early this evening, partly cloudy and humid, low 78. Tomorrow, humid with periods of clouds and sun, a thunderstorm in parts of the area in the afternoon, high 93. Get your weather news when and how you want it wherever you are. Download our free app or visit AccuWeather.com. That's your AccuWeather forecast. I'm Caitlin Lawrence for AM 860, The Answer.
I belong with the misfits.
There you go, Doc.
And I'm back. This is Dr. Bill. Got Ken with me. We're doing a show here. Ken, I was reading up on carbon capture and CO2 reduction and all that. And you know, Tony Robbins, you know, the motivational speaker.
Yeah, I heard the name before. Yeah.
Yeah, he lent $200 million to a company called Omnis, which says that it can reduce emissions significantly and create hydrogen, which can be used to burn as a fuel. As you know, the hydrogen cars have been developed, but they have not become popular because of the cost of producing pure hydrogen and problems of storing it. It's very volatile.
Well, the fuel cell is the the holy grail of energy. If we can get fuel cells in cars.
Yep, that's the holy grail. But you remember what happened with the Hindenburg?
That ain't a little problem. Hey, one problem, Doc. One issue. That's all.
That pretty much ended the dirigibles.
Oh, the humanity.
Oh, the humanity. Well, you know why they used hydrogen, the Germans?
Because it was cheap.
We wouldn't sell them helium.
Oh, so it's our fault.
Yeah, we had all the helium in the world back then, so we wouldn't sell it to them. No, we ain't giving you no helium. So hydrogen, which is highly volatile, is also, as you know, the lightest element, so it floats. So you can fill your balloons full of hydrogen and put them up for the party, and afterwards you can put a match to them and blow them up.
I was gonna say, pop them with a cigarette.
Yeah, pop them with a cigarette and watch that stuff flame. Oh boy,
we got a winner, Doc. By the way,
who we got?
We have Greg Price.
Greg Price
of lovely Bartow, Florida.
Bartow, Florida.
And he knew that the correct answer was dog days of summer. That's when the dog star appears. Sometime in early July, you said, and then it was with us till in August. And
Yep.
the dog days of summer came because astronomers said, "Hey, look at it, it's a dog star."
Well, congratulations to Greg, and thank you for being with us, buddy. We appreciate it. We need all the help we can get here.
And thanks to everybody who tried.
Yeah. Ken's he's getting a little weak. He won't come see me.
I'm just so busy, Doc. I'm a busy guy.
I know you are.
I'm busy
You're
from 3 in the morning.
You're so
till
loved
6 at
and
night.
wanted by everybody.
I know. It's
Well, that's what you get for being in the profession for so long.
That's right, exactly. It's time to retire completely. I came down to Florida to retire partially, and before I knew it, I was back in it again.
It's just too bad radio doesn't pay more, you know?
Well, I just I got bored. I was only working like 4 hours a day when I came down here because I was partly retired, and I got bored, so I went on another
Now
job.
how much you're working? You're probably up to 8 hours a day.
Now I'm doing about 10 hours a day.
10 hours a day.
Yeah.
Helping Roger P.
You're right, helping Roger and all kinds of stuff around here. And then I have another job in the afternoon that I do for the folks that I left when I left Chicago.
Well, that's right. You do some news for the
I
Chicago
up in the
station.
Chicago area, right, in the afternoon. So I have a busy
Wow.
guy.
Well, thank God for the internet because you can do it from down here.
That's right, exactly. That's the reason I came down. So what am I doing it up in the snow? I can do it down there.
Yeah, I tell you, folks, it's just amazing what the internet and computers and microcircuitry has done to the entertainment industry, radio and television. I mean, you can you could broadcast from anywhere. We used to lug around hundreds of pounds of stuff, and now you can grab a microphone and a computer, and if it has a camera on it, if it has a forward-looking, backward-looking camera on your laptop, you can just use that.
I used to walk around with a reel-to-reel recorder around my neck with a microphone. Trying to get question. Now I just take out my phone and press my recording app and just put my phone in front of them. That's it.
Yes. Then you can just
and the sound is better.
You can and you can download it. Mine has a studio grade recording ability on it.
Yeah, for news guys, it's wonderful because you can record the soundbite and then just email it back to the station and have it on the air in no time. So, yeah, the marvelous technology today. Can't beat it.
Almost instantaneous.
Almost, yeah.
But you don't think about it, but the instantaneous news broadcasting actually started with Samuel Morse's telegraph.
Sure.
And Lincoln had a telegraph office in the White House, and he was kept up to date minute by minute as to how the battles were going.
Yeah, he was the first real-time president. Yeah.
Yeah. And, so he probably got reports shortly after the generals got that from their lieutenants who were out in the field fighting. They'd come back in and say, we've taken the ridge and we've lost the sunken road. And so the generals would tell the telegraph operators, send that to the president now.
And of course, the administration would have had that and had the spin ready to go by the time the press got it.
Yep.
So I'm sure they were spinning back in Lincoln's day, even.
Oh, yeah. Are you kidding? Since humans could start talking, they were spinning.
Since Gutenberg put the press together, they've been spinning.
That damn Gutenberg.
He's the problem. That's right.
Yeah.
And the guy
ordered education, so now everybody can read and write. They don't know what they're reading, but they can read it.
Yes. Well, yeah.
Speaking of reading and writing and Trump, have you heard of Project 2025?
I've heard a little. I haven't. It's like a 900-page report, so I haven't dipped into it very seriously yet.
Yeah, this conservative think group in Washington, the Heritage Foundation, they had put together a playbook for how they think the president, if President Trump wins, how he should handle his first 100 days in office. And basically, it's an ultra-conservative outline of what to do with each department. And they have people from all the various departments in the government who were either in the government or are in the government or studied these, and they have put together this humongous 900-page, I guess you'd call it a playbook. I don't know what else to call it. A diagram, an outline of what to do. And so the left has really glommed onto this, and they're attacking it, and, it's a Nazi fascist plot. And Trump's in on it. And so Trump is distancing himself from this because he doesn't want that kind of publicity. Plus, Trump's going to do what he wants. He's not going to do what anybody else wants.
Yeah, to do what the think tank wants would take control of the entire government. I mean, they'd have to have the House and the Senate and the presidency, first of all. Otherwise, they'd never get it all through.
They never get it through. And, it deals with everything from abortion to the number of people in the federal government to Department of Energy and the Department of Education, which probably are big boondoggles, but I don't know enough about it. I can't comment whether or not the Department of Education has any real value. The Department of Energy has done some good things, but the problem is they follow, they don't lead. So if the public says, well, we're shifting to electric cars, then they got to run and catch up and start doing whatever they have to do to look at that and manage it and make suggestions. But they don't really do that much. I mean, they're not hands-on building things, Ken.
No, of course not.
They're policy planners and money people, and they're deciding where the money will go that has been voted in for green energy and that sort of thing. And they look through and sift through all that and decide who's legitimate and who isn't, and who's going to get the dollars. So ultimately, it's like Calvin Coolidge said, the business of government is business. And you may say, well, aren't they there for social work and all that? Well, if you stop and think about it, it's a business, It's a way of circulating money. And what goes around comes around.
Well, I don't think that the business world is taking over if this happens. I mean, I there's a lot of room to cut, is what I'm saying, in all government agencies. I don't care what one it is. And we do help business, but that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to create money and wealth in general.
Well, I think that's inherent in our Constitution, but a lot of people have forgotten that or never knew it or don't believe it and think that we should be a communist society where everybody is equal. And problem with that is then there's no incentive, and then you don't have the kind of progress and mass production that we have been able to produce over the decades. It's really remarkable that we've been able to move so quickly and become the world power so easily. I think it's been easy. Of course, we had world wars, but that actually stimulated growth and production and research and development. So I know war is a horrible thing, but good things do come out of it. At any rate, I don't think we could have done it if we were not a free enterprise society.
And there's that was a problem with the Soviet Union in many ways, because there was no reason for anybody to come up with something new because they weren't going to profit from it at all.
Well, at least not to the extent that
you could here, right?
You could here, but you'd lead a little better life if you were an inventor like Kalashnikov, and he got a few extra perks, but it's more for the motherland and less for your own gratification and edification and personal wealth. So now I don't know how the Soviet Union became so powerful, except that under Stalin, I mean, if you didn't do what you were told, well, you'd go to a gulag.
That's right. They just lock you up.
And I don't think that's the way to do it. I think you get much more productivity and support if you let people do what they do. If you don't get in their way and encourage them to do what they are good at.
And, pay them well, pay them fair, and
if you're a researcher and you have some good ideas, well, then we should be supporting that. So the question is how much do we support researchers in the department or in the field of education and how much do we support those in the field of physics? So there you get into the big debate. And, it's like the big debate we had when we were younger was the arts versus the sciences. Well, obviously, intelligence is related to your mathematical skills and your scientific acumen, and not to how well you can finger paint. But a lot of people don't agree with that, Ken.
Well, yeah.
And they think that intelligence is also easily displayed, or as equally displayed, I should say, through the arts. And there may be a few people who are really excellent at producing artwork, whether it's statues or pictures or whatever, paintings. And you can see that genius in people like Leonardo da Vinci. But, he ended up making his money making stage props.
What? I had never heard that either.
Yes, sir. He never painted after he was about 30. He never picked up a paintbrush.
Really?
And so what he ended up doing is he designed stage sets, and he'd make all these machines for production and shows, and so like people would come up from underneath the stage on a platform because he had designed an elevator lift that could be run by a human with multiple gears, so it was easier to pull it up, and fireworks on stage and water shows and all kinds of neat things that he had designed over his lifetime. Of course, we only see the things like the helicopter and this and that, but he designed a ton of stuff. He was
Mike was in showbiz. I didn't know Mike was in showbiz. Okay.
Yep, he was. Leonardo was. He was a big show business guy. That's where the cash was, buddy.
I guess so. Still is.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't make any money selling one painting at a time. Well, Rembrandt figured out how to do it. He did just portraits, and he made you pay dearly for it. And so he was well-to-do. He made big money off of doing portraits. And if you've ever seen his portraits, I mean, live, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, they do look alive, don't they? They look like a
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And he was so talented. So we've had some people, very small number of people who have created great works of art, and obviously took some intelligence and some talent, and obviously some mathematics, especially with guys like Leonardo da Vinci, who laid out their paintings mathematically. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that either. Had a grid on there. They had a whole grid on there.
Yeah, he'd do a geometric layout. And before he started to paint. And so if you look at some of his paintings where there are long shots into the distance, there's a great deal of depth there because he figured out how to geometrically and mathematically lay it out and paint it. And
then Picasso came along and just started doing whatever he wanted.
That damn Picasso. Boy. If you ever saw his early works, he was a master at age 12 or 13. He was drawing and painting as well as any of the great masters. He was really something to see. Same way with Dali and some of the other great artists that have been over time, who have changed their mode and their patterns as they go along. But unbelievable to see some of. We went to, I think it was in Barcelona, that they have a Salvador Dali museum, because he was a Catalan, he was from Barcelona originally.
And Picasso would just do things on like a napkin and hand it to somebody.
I think it was Picasso who I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. He would just do it like a napkin drawing for somebody and sign it. And then, 50 years later, somebody on Antiques Roadshow sells it for, $15,000.
Well, that's what they say, but.
Well, yeah.
Then some guy blows his nose on it.
Well, right, yeah. Hey, it's Picasso. It could have been there in the beginning. So
yeah.
Well, we got about 8 minutes left here, Doc. So what else we got?
Well, you heard that France is deadlocked after their election between the left, the right, and the middle. And
yeah, I was reading something about that.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to work out a functional parliament or not, but if they don't, then they'll go without a government, I guess.
I think they do re-elections, I think, at that point.
Are they going to have a re-election?
I think they would have to have a re-election if they can't come up with a government, yeah.
And it's really interesting to me how these parliamentary governments work. And I told you, I think it was last week, that we were in Belgium and they had not been able to form a government. The Walloons and the Flemish are the German speakers, and the Walloons are the French speakers. So the Flemish sounds a lot like English. You know, English is Low German dialect, and so is Flemish. And you could actually understand some of the Flemish. And if you talk to the Flemish, their English is impeccable because they basically speak the same roots that we do. At any rate, so we were at the restaurant and we were talking with the waiter in Bruges, which is the old town that's undestroyed, hadn't been bombed during the wars, and it stood there for, God, probably a millennium. At any rate, I said, "How is it with no government?" He said, "The traffic lights work, the roads paved, you know, we
don't
pay our
even know this.
taxes. There's food on the table." He said, "We don't know the difference." I said, "Well, I guess it doesn't really matter whether you have an organized government as long as there's an infrastructure that's running. What's the
Right.
difference?"
And I think that's would be the same story here.
Probably so. You know, the French have been around a long time, and I don't think they're going anywhere.
Yeah. Country's not going to close up for any reason. No.
No, and I mean, you know, they're not going to give up their cafes and their little eating places over this and go and smoke a cigarette, have a drink, and talk about it.
They do take a nice long lunch over there. And they have a month vacation. Maybe they should stop that and increase their GDP.
Well, you know, that's what the left wants here. They want a month's vacation. They want a 4-day work week and so on and so forth.
And a 6-hour day, 4-day work week. And
that's what I'm working towards.
well, you deserve it. You're headed for retirement.
I am.
I think so.
And I'm shrinking too.
And you're shrinking. Exactly. Give this guy a break.
I kind of wish my son had that disease because now I feel a little inadequate.
I would have just told him, yeah, you are growing. You got this disease. So tough. Let him worry about it for a while. Let him do his own research. Let him figure it out. You're shrinking.
So you know, we were talking about Tony Robbins and this company that he's investing in, but the whole carbon capture thing is interesting to me.
That's right. We started that like 20 minutes ago, didn't we?
Yeah. How do we get back to
I don't know. It happens every week. We start on something and we end up somewhere else.
But I guess people like it. We've got an audience.
I guess so, yeah.
That crazy Handelman's on. I wonder what he's going to talk about this week.
So what about the carbon thing? Well, we were talking about, that's right. We started talking about power cells, fuel cells, and all that stuff.
Yeah. And apparently there's an electrochemical process and there's catalytic processes where you can break the carbon dioxide down and recycle the carbon and the oxygen, release it into the atmosphere or sell it to Hollywood people. You remember when they went through that fad where they were all huffing oxygen?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if it made them any smarter or not, but they certainly had more breath.
Well, that's important when you got a long scene to do.
And so I guess Occidental Petroleum is expected to remove 500,000 metric tons of emissions once it gets started with its new process. So everybody's got a process they're working on.
Well, great. I hope they all work.
Yeah, hopefully something will come through. Hopefully.
And we can stop talking about it for a while.
Now, this is just I don't know how accurate it is because it was probably written by somebody on the left, but it's health insurers pocketed $50 billion from Medicare for diseases no doctor treated. I don't know the whole story here. I read some of the article, and I guess they're giving away things like gift cards, and you can get food if you have Medicare Advantage plan, and you get over-the-counter goods, and I guess this is some of what they're talking about because there's no diagnosis associated with over-the-counter medications and extra food money a month and that sort of thing. So I guess it's kind of an amalgam of welfare and healthcare. And so you can get a lot if you're in the right program. And then there's also the question of questionable diagnosis, including things like AIDS, for which the patients get extra money and extra help. And by the way, you talk about being socially liberal and fiscally conservative, and you can't do that, Ken. You cannot do that. You say, well, if somebody wants to be gay, there's treatment for it. Well, who do you think pays for that treatment if they get HIV? Who do you think pays for the medications that prevent it? And these are expensive medications, and these folks don't pay full price for these medications. We subsidize it.
Yep, that's right.
It's the same way with the bus system in Pinellas County. I think it's $2 or $3 to ride the bus, but the actual cost per rider is $7 or $8 per ride. Well, who do you think pays that?
Like that across the country. Yeah.
It's that way everywhere. So you cannot be socially liberal and fiscally conservative. It doesn't work that way. You're socially liberal means you're just going to give more of your tax dollars for things that are of little value to society. But
and Doc, we're done. I gotta say goodbye. We went along.
Bye.
Say bye.
Bye. Thank you.
WGUL and W229DJ Dunedin. Powered by Prosperity Group. Come grow with us.